Happy Father's Day!
For those of them who are fathers, yes, it is a happy day.
Only for those who are good fathers.
Yeah, the rest of you can go straight to hell. Anyway.
My name is Kasia.
I'm Eugene. And these are film reviews for also known as Reprobates. You. In this instance, yeah, we cut the music. In this instance, we're talking about Cosmopolis. Our Cosmopolis.
Cosmopolis?
Yeah, when my kids come by today, when they were pronouncing some word very strangely, they were pronouncing it incorrectly. It was completely hilarious. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, yes, Cosmopolis, David Cronenberg's 2012 film with Robert Pattinson.
Yes, our favorite actor recently.
Do you want to explain how we got there?
It all started from Twilight. How did we get to Cosmopolis? I don't know.
Good Time.
Yes, Good Time. We reviewed a few weeks ago.
Right. Robert Pattinson, who most know from the teen pot boiler for Twilight, actually just
killed it. He killed it.
He killed it in this movie called Good Time by the Safdie brothers, Safdie.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna review one of theirs next week, maybe. But he just did such a great job. It forced us to re-examine.
Yeah, now we are just watching every movie with Robert Pattinson, just like blind.
Well, first of all, we advise you all to watch all movies blind, because the reality of it is it's a much. What is that fucking movie with the people on the boat? The couple, and they're doing this cutesy dating thing, and they say, "Oh, let's go sail around the world, man!" And they go out, and the boat capsizes, and then he breaks his leg, and she rescues him, and they get back on. And she has to try to sail this boat from the deep sea to rescue them, and of course they're both rescued because we have the story that they've made a movie about. Keep in mind, we haven't seen the movie.
Oh yeah, I was like, did we see it? I don't remember. Yeah. I remember only previews.
Yeah, the previews were so extensive. I just gave you the whole fucking movie. So don't. Otherwise, you're just going to be. It's like a kid with a bedtime story. Reading that story again. No again. We want you to experience it the way those experience life, which is, I don't know what's going to happen next. And that's kind of a thrilling way to watch it. So once we found out that Safdie, he was great in that, we figured, okay, well, we can't go, like if it's a crappy director and it's like a Twilight thing, like somebody's doing for money, we should steer clear. But Cronenberg, I've always liked Cronenberg.
Me too.
So what was that great one he did with Jeremy Irons, where he played the twin surgeons, one who was, of course, losing his mind. I forget the name of it, but Cronenberg's always had a kind of a chilly thing.
Yes.
That I've enjoyed, and not quite horror, or you wouldn't exactly call it, but cool.
Something weird, yeah. Always.
So, Cosmopolis, 2012.
Mm-hmm. Well, everything is happening in a limousine. Pretty much most of the movie is happening in a limousine. Robert Pattinson is his name is. What is his name?
I don't
remember the name of the character. I'm sorry. We watched it a week ago, so we had a little gaps, probably memory gaps.
That doesn't make a difference anyway.
Make a difference
because you don't think of him as a character's name, you think of him as Robert Pattinson doing a great job as his character.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So he's who is it? He's like a stockbroker. What is his occupation?
Boy billionaire.
Yeah, he's a billionaire.
A stock trader, mover of money, apparently.
And he's got people who are doing.
And Randy and Giant.
Yes, people are doing shit for him, and he's just driving around the city in his limousine, and he's getting a doctor appointments there, and he's got sex there, and he's got conversation with people, and there are riots in the city in the meantime. It's very funny.
It's kind of an Occupy kind of riot thing, anti-global riot. You're not quite sure. It picks and chooses. It's a riot generica. It most certainly is not a riot based on the methodology. It's not a riot like a sports riot. They're not happy that the Dubs won the basketball championship.
No, it's a serious riot.
Yeah, they're carrying around rats, and they've got signs, and they spray paint up his limo in a very amusing fashion. I kept thinking of Honky Lips from National Lampoon's Vacation. If you remember, the Woody station wagon that Chevy Chase drove after they go through the black section of town, that ends up spray painted with the word "honky lips" on the side of it.
Oh man!
Which I thought was fairly hilarious. I mean, I know there were no African American writers on National Lampoon's Vacation, but that whatever white writer wrote that is completely hilarious. And going through a black neighborhood, that somebody would actually go through the trouble of spray painting on the side of a suburban station wagon "honky lips" is actually super fucking hilarious. And I'm disappointed that since that movie's come out, that there's not been a band called Honky Lips.
Well, we can put together.
No, I don't need one like that, but somebody should. So.
That's pretty much the kind of. I don't want to like tell you about the movie, like more details about it, but that's pretty much the plot. He's just driving around in his limo, and there are riots outside. And why the riots are there, you'll find out. But in general, that movie is a kind of a mix of Greenway and a little bit of, I would say.
Tell them who Peter Greenaway is.
Peter Greenway?
Mm-hmm.
He's a director,
mm-hmm.
movie director. If you haven't seen any Greenway movie, go and see it right now. It's kind of like a magical realism or kind of surrealism, even a kind of composition of both. It's a Greenwayan, a little Lynchian, a little Fight Clubian, a little Kafkian too. There's a lot of Kafka, I think, in this movie. Roland Topor, the great French writer and a graphic. If you don't know Roland Topor, check him out too.
Greenaway's biggest was The Thief, the Cook, the Wife, and her Lover, if you remember that one, with the same guy who played the singing detective, who I love, whose name now, who in the main role, whose name escapes me, British actor, which is famous for that. They beat a guy, they make him eat dog shit, and then afterward he says, "Now that you've had something to eat, you must have something to drink," and he urinates in the guy's face. And that was in the first 30 seconds of the movie. And apparently the guy was being beaten because he complained about his food. You know how your waiter comes up to the meal, okay? He goes, actually, and he made some sort of complaint. They dragged him out and beat him, fed him dog shit, and then pissed in his mouth. And I thought,
classy.
I'm in. So Peter Greenaway works with a lot of basic primary colors.
Yeah.
And what was noteworthy about this is that this was not a movie. This was a filmed play.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And Cosmopolis is written and acted like a play also. Mm-hmm. That's why it's so weird. I mean, I personally really like that form of expression. I'm super into theater, and I always like classical acting. And there's a lot of it there in Cosmopolis. That's why it's very weird. Like dialogues are absolutely not natural, for example. But that because they're not natural, you're really paying attention to what they're saying. What else?
Well, that's pretty close.
Everything is kind of overacted too, which I really like because it fits. Mm-hmm. It's American Psycho a little bit too, but like if American Psycho was a theater play.
No, I'm super in love with Marlon Brando. It's Father's Day. It should be noted that Marlon Brando apparently was a terrible father.
Yeah,
really horrible.
So fuck you, Marlon Brando. Whatever you are.
He ignored his kids, which is almost worse a lot of times than being the other types of bad father, but that's a bad one. But he was phenomenal. He changed the scenes of American acting. But one of the things that he did that was kind of fucked up, and I just say fucked up in a very general, broad sense, was this naturalism. Mm-hmm. Born by the Stanislavski method, where it wasn't enough to act like a boxer. You had to be a boxer, right? In a theatrical production. And he goes, he talked about, Brando himself talked about Shakespeare and goes, Americans don't have the ear for it and we don't have the tongue for it. So what was interesting is that this movie was set in some generic city, probably New York. It was supposed to be New York, right?
I think, yeah.
It may not have actually been New York. I didn't see any obvious New York indicators like a bridge or something. But But the language was, he was not pursuing a naturalism at all.
Yes.
And it was sort of refreshing. It was refreshing in the same way, if you've seen Guys and Dolls, Damon Runyon had these guys speaking like the touts that used to hang around the racetracks that he used to hang around in the 30s in the 30s in New York. You know, the D's, them, and those type guys. But there was that, if you watch Guys and Dolls, the kind of formalism that they captured in their language. You know, it seems that Bat Masterson is the kind of guy that was actually ripped from the streets. These guys who've been educated in Catholic reformatories ended up doing this kind of high tone thing. So Americans do have an ear for language, but this was so kind of coolly stilted that that, like Kasia says, you do pay attention to words in a way that you don't when it's naturalistic. Like, you don't have to listen to really what an actor's saying in American music when they're achieving naturalism, because you kind of get intentionality, where the actor's going, what they want, what they're doing. So you could turn around and get your drink, you could miss a few things. With this, it held your eyes because the words were carrying it, and there were no other indicators. Overacted, fine, that's fucking fine. But as a wordsmith, I have to say the value and the thematic underpinnings of it made a lot of difference to me.
Yeah, and in general, in this movie, dialogue is like the main thing, because almost everything is happening in a limousine. Like, there's just really just one thing, one place that they are in. There's very little like other places.
Right.
They probably not moving at all. There's I think like maybe 3 times. But because of that, the dialogue is like the main thing. So we have to pay attention to the dialogue. And it's not, sometimes it's not even a dialogue. Sometimes they're just like monologues, long monologues during when they have sex or when they're doing other stuff. They're just talking all the time, which I personally really like.
Well, this the cool thing about this too is that, like, you know, that the vehicle itself implies, you know, a vehicle is a process.
Yeah, it's changing,
right?
exactly.
Right.
It's kind of like, you know, it starts as a beautiful white clean limousine, and then within the you know, it's moving through the city, and it ends up pretty much as a piece of
No, but I'm thinking more the limo as a philosophical construct.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
But the car, but not just the exterior. Like, it's designed to get you from one place to another, but they never get any place.
Yeah, they just. I mean, the thing is that the main character, whose name is actually checked, Eric Packer, he is going to get a haircut. Right. This is the plot. Like, he says, I'm going to get a haircut, and because he's getting a haircut at the same guy since he was a kid, he's just going there. And it's the middle of the night, and
but traffic is fucked up because the president is in town, which accounts for the riots. So traffic is very slow. But, you know, it's again the whole thing between becoming and being. Yes. You know, like the process, the state of. So, like, we talk about Plato's cave and the shadows. This limo becomes kind of a weird allegory for the fact that that money is an aggressive abstraction, I think, right?
That's very probable.
I mean, I think it was a meditation on money.
It was in general, it was meditation on capitalism and money and power, and how it is to be a billionaire at the age of 27, pretty much, and then how when you become a billionaire that young, how deranged from reality you are.
I'm not entirely sure that becoming a billionaire at any age would that you'd be safe from that derangement.
No, but then,
I think if you're older, you have more
experience.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson, he's acting like he wants to know how it is to be a person, that actually a real person, not just some kind of character that he has to play. It's like American Psycho. That's why I had kind of like they remind me of each other because what was the
Talking
name?
about Patrick Bateman.
Patrick Bateman. He also didn't know how to be a real human being. Robert Pattinson, he's acting like an extraterrestrial, so he's trying kind of figure out how to be a human, what humans do, what men do in this situation and other situation. He's actually asks his lovers and his security and other people in general what a person would do in that situation. Yeah.
And the interesting thing too is that, as an aside, I guess Hitler would do this as well. I mean, keep in mind there was no feedback then, and there was no kind of a, people weren't watching rushes necessarily, but he was obsessed with how, much like Trump in a weird way, how am I coming across? And not because he wanted to, but it was more like an extraterrestrial would ask,
Mm-hmm.
am I being sufficiently human? Am I being too human? Or am I being not human enough? Have verisimilitude? Have I actually affected? Is my effect the desired effect in a very strange way? So there's this kind of blunted affect where he's not feeling a lot of passion about anything, but I'll give you a sample of one of the lines which I really like. And his fiance in the movie was not an actress I've seen a lot.
Sarah Gaden. She was
Gaden.
excellent.
Yeah.
Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, and she said at one point, she said, and this is not going to ruin the movie for you necessarily, she goes, I can't do your indifference, and it makes me susceptible to pain. I was
She's
like,
a poet.
Yeah.
Very rich poet.
Yeah, so which means she's a rich person with a pen. So I don't know that she's really writing, but that was a great line of I can't do your indifference, and that makes me susceptible to pain. And she delivered it much like, I mean, if it had been a Marlon Brando influenced movie, there would have been like, I just can't. I mean, it makes you sleep. But she did it in very much the same way I just delivered it,
Mm-hmm.
which you would say was not natural at all and stilted, but the form becomes part of the message, right?
Yeah, and still she's crazy rich. She's in this world. They both in the same world.
Yeah.
So yeah, and everybody who's rich in this movie kind of acts like they don't know how to be a human.
Yeah. And I have to say, what was pleasant about this movie is that I had a full range of emotions. It was not, if I say stilted, you're thinking, man, I don't want to watch 2 hours of fucking play. But I know I'm not talking. Like, there were moments that I was laughing quite a lot through this movie. So there was moments of,
and I think it was intentional.
Yeah, there was chilling moments, there was touching moments, there were amusing moments, sexy moments. So there was a whole panoply of emotions and sensations going through this movie. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to do a ranking?
I think so. I really don't want to talk. I really want to talk about this movie, but we should maybe do another series that we actually talk about the movies that people watched. I don't want to ruin it for you because I think it's really, really worth watching, and I'm sure you're gonna have fun watching it.
Well, we don't. I mean, there's talking about the plot.
Yeah.
Which we don't. I mean, we could talk about the movie without talking about the plot.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I could talk about this movie much longer, but let's do the ranking. I'm also tired. I came back from training. I'm drinking root beer float, which is what every athlete is drinking after training.
Yeah. Root beer. Root beer.
It is a root beer float.
Hey. He's gonna be a violent drunk. Yeah. Help
I also kicked myself
me.
With a heel in my back, and it hurts a lot. So.
All right. Did you do that on purpose?
I was doing so-called knee kick, and no, it wasn't on purpose. It was an accident.
Oh, so you didn't like it?
No, it really hurts.
Okay. Well, there's a guy on the Lower East Side named Spacely, and Spacely used to wear silver cowboy boots and the cowboy hat and an eye patch. And I said, how did Spacely get that eye patch? And apparently Spacely was fucking around with some of the transvestite prostitutes
Yeah.
And he forgot that the transvestite prostitute is not a woman, but it's a dude in a dress.
Even if it was a woman, you can fuck somebody up with a heel.
Well, that's what she did, and she put his fucking eye out with the heel.
Good.
That's why Spacely had an eye patch and never did that again, I'm guessing, since he managed to keep his other eye.
Good for you.
I guess he's still around.
You live and you learn.
I guess he's still around somewhere in the Lower East Side. So anyway, our ranking system. Well, I'm trying to control the computer, which is balanced on a box.
Balance it.
Yeah, okay. And so I can get my fingers to the side and give it a ranking. All right. On the count of 3, we will give it a ranking.
Yeah.
1, a 2, a 3. I can't see all your fingers. So you gave it what? An 8?
7.
Oh, so you're hiding your thumb.
Yeah, it's tricky. Oh, so you're like,
yeah, I gave it a 7.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to explain why it wasn't a 10. 10. There's very few movies that are 10. We'll get to some maybe, but
no, I was actually torn between 8 and 7, because I really want to watch this movie again. I would watch it like I was watching multiple times, like Fight Club or American Psycho or all David Lynch movies, or even Greenway. I always watch them multiple times. Greenway.
Yeah.
Yes. What did I say?
Is it Greenway?
Greenway. Well, whatever. Don't be picky about it.
Well, that's green. That's Greenaway.
Greenway. Yes.
Yeah, A-way. Green A-way. Well, look at this.
What is your
problem? You gotta do it right. That's all.
Okay, thank you for correcting me.
Yes, okay.
In front of everybody.
Yeah, all 2 of our listeners. All right.
So yeah.
Anyway,
7-7.
7-7, which means watch it.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything under 5, unless we give a good reason for watching it. But we've described the mood, the tone. So if you're in that mood, the tone that matches it, you should watch it. It was worthwhile. It's making me want to watch more Cronenberg. Because
me too.
It's referencing his movie Existence, which I've not seen yet because it just seemed, I don't know, the ad campaign never made me interested, but people talk about Cosmopolis as being a bookend to Existence.
I've watched it, and
I haven't seen it. So
let's do it tonight.
Okay, all right. So that's what our plans are scotched out for the rest of the night. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, guys.
And like I said, if you sign up for the Eugene Robinson Show Stomper, and automatically subscribe to the page, it'll let you know when we're doing these, so you don't have to just do it catch as catch can. Anyway, we'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.